Welcome to episode 10 of the Q&A show. We made it this far.
Number 10.
We are going to celebrate. Should we do it pre or post? What's up, guys? Dave Dreas here with
Scott Emick.
and my man Chris is here in the background.
CP
for
Rice.
episode number 10. Now,
Number 10.
we're doing something a little bit different.
Yeah.
We're celebrating.
I guess we're celebrating now.
Because we got to 10. Now, unfortunately, for you guys back there, Chris does not have a shot. We do.
Sorry, buddy.
So he's driving home after this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
He's
he
gotta
is.
drive. So we decided, should we do it pre or post?
Pre.
We'll do it pre.
Here it is.
Cheers.
Cheers. That's tasty.
That was good. That goes down.
Okay, it's real smooth. Ooh. It's warm.
We need to ask a question.
Yeah.
Answer a question.
All right. Rick had a question.
Okay.
This is actually Rick via Twitter. And Rick via Twitter wants to know free weights versus machines, right?
Yeah.
Which is better for me?
Good question. They both serve a purpose, so understand that. Free weight is going to be like a dumbbell. You could say kettlebell, you could say barbell. Machine weight would think of like a leg extension, leg curl, possibly like a preacher curl or, dip machine or rope press down, different types of...
It's getting to you already, isn't it?
Yeah, it's getting to me. But different, machine assisted, one fixed plane of motion versus having a...
Okay, so let's talk about that. So machines basically isolate the movement,
Right.
right? Mm-hmm. So whereas free weights, your body's got to do the isolation.
Right. So I guess the easiest example would be a Smith machine.
Yep.
If you wanted to do a Smith machine bench press, you're going to drag a bench underneath it, you're going to do a bench press versus doing a standard bench press without the assistance on the side. Now, I will tell you this, just from my experience, when I was younger, first starting to lift weights, my goal was always to get to 135 on the bench press. I started utilizing the Smith machine because you could add a little bit more weight, which then would carry over to the bench press.
Right.
So then hopefully you would eventually get stronger and stronger. If you could do 145 or 155 on the Smith machine, you might be able to do 135. But take someone who's a little bit older, so 60s, 70s, 80s, if they wanted to use a Smith machine for a squat or something, totally acceptable.
It's also
totally
much
awesome.
safer for that age
Yeah,
group.
so
Yeah.
it depends on the context if you want to answer which one's better or not. It's really not. But if you're looking for pure strength, you want to get bigger, you want to add size, you're going to do compound movements and you're going to do a lot of free weights.
And those are a little bit different for what reason?
Structurally on your joints, you're having to stabilize.
In 3 axes.
Yeah, you're going to go, essentially you can do a full range of motion on some
Right.
things versus having that fixed motion where it's just going to go in one path. So that's a huge advantage. And then in some of the exercises that utilize, dumbbells, barbells, kettlebells, a very core focus. So
Right.
you're going to engage the core much more when you're using free weights than if you were to use some machine weights.
Yeah.
That's a good question, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great question. It's been a topic of debate for a long time.
You could read online where they're going to be like, don't ever use this leg extension machine because it doesn't do anything. Well, it could very well do a lot of things. It's actually going to get you stronger. It's going to help develop the quads. Or same thing about the seated leg curl or something like that. They all serve a purpose, whether it's for isolation, whether it's for pure strength, whether it's for stability. There's not one that's kind of right or wrong. It just depends on what your goals are, really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
So utilizing both in a programming standpoint.
And how are they going to come up? I'm sure there's a lot of science out there, but there's a lot of pseudoscience out there as well. To support one thing over another. You see it on every 30-minute ad that's pushing some kind of a fitness product.
It just depends on what context you want to come from.
Right.
It's essentially going to dictate
but
that.
You're moving force through distance, so it's going to have some kind of impact.
For sure.
No matter what it is.
And I want to touch on this real quick too. If you want to get into specificity and specific, take a power lifter, for example, he's going to want to do, let's just say, a deadlift. Or if he wants to do a hang clean or whatever it is. He's got to get proficient in that particular movement. So doing bench press is probably the easiest. So a power lifter or a guy who's competing in the bench press, him doing seated chest presses, on an assisted machine won't be as beneficial as him actually getting under the bar and lifting, in the 1, 3, 4, 5, 6 rep range, because that's what he's trying to get proficient in. if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So him doing some isolation work on cable flies or the seated, cable, stuff, it's not really going to make much of a difference. He wants to get proficient in that particular movement. So different conversation than saying, would my dad be beneficial going and doing the seated chest press?
Right.
Yeah,
that's true.
Doesn't mean that.
What is the end goal?
Correct.
Right.
So that's a very good question. You can utilize both in your program. I think it'd be all right.
Rick, thanks for sending that in. Please feel free to put your comments in. Did I cut you off? Did we cover that? Want another shot?
We're running low here.
Yeah, it is low. Let's pour that up, though. Put the comments in the box below, and then show us the love on...
Subscribe. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of the above.
Snap.
Can't forget that one. So much appreciated. Thank you guys very much. 10 episodes. We got a lot more coming. We are celebrating here. I hope you get to do the same thing tonight.
See you soon.
Later.